So aside from being a drummer, you have recently been doing a lot of real estate. And so I'm not a homeowner. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners probably aren't either.
I thought you were going to say, I'm not a homo, which is cool. I mean, that's fine.
Oh.
You know, whatever you...
Well, I'm not.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Either.
But if you were...
It's okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Fucking so I understand that you can give us a little bit of an insight for somebody who wants to be a first time homeowner and what the roadmap would look like, just so because it's kind of a scary path. Or
Absolutely.
you know, it's something where you just like for the next 30 years, I got to make this amount of a payment, and then you know you got to consider taxes and everything like that. So, what can you tell us in regards to that?
Well, it is a long process. It can be at times scary, but your agent should be with you 100% of the time. Any questions, your agent and your lender. So, if there's any doubts or any questions or anything that goes through your mind about that, speak to them first, and they should be able to give you the right answer. But so the roadmap to being a first-time homeowner, it's really pretty simple. Yes. Well, I can give you that class afterwards.
Afterwards, okay.
So it's pretty easy. I mean, simple. It's pretty simple. The first step is to get pre-qualified. In order to get pre-qualified, you would need a couple of documents: your last 2 years of your tax returns, last 2 months of your bank statements, last 2 months of your pay stubs. You need to be employed at your employer for 2 years. If you're in between jobs, as long as you're in the same scope of work, that should be fine. A copy of your social and a copy of your ID. Mm-hmm. So once you get all that stuff, speak to a lender. I personally like to tell clients to speak to more than one lender, multiple, only because at the moment there's a lot of competition out there. So speaking with multiple lenders, you get you basically get them fighting for your business. So there's a lot of times where they'll give you a better rate depending on, you know, who you talk to, or like say, hey, you know, I got this rate here. Can you match this, or can you do better? So that's that. Once you speak with a lender, then we see how much you're qualified for. And once we see how much you're qualified for, I sit down with you, or your real estate agent professional will sit down with you and basically just go over what your needs are, what your wants are, things that you absolutely don't want, things you do want. So once we do that, we'll go out and start looking. Once we do find something that you guys do like, we'll go ahead and write up an offer. Once, if that gets accepted, then it gets accepted, and then we open up escrow. Once escrow is opened, it takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days for you to actually be able to live in that home.
And that's when I can't use my credit card for shit, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So,
and why is that?
Yeah,
I've heard that many times.
So during escrow is when you do not want to buy like anything on credit. When you're getting approved, there's a lot of steps that the underwriter has to take to make sure that you're actually able to pay the monthly and the loan and
so they need some kind of consistency.
Exactly. So if you do buy something like, for example, I had a client that was purchasing a home a couple years back, and we were I think a week away from closing escrow, and his lender calls me and says, "Hey man, so we did the final verification of his employment, and apparently he resigned from his job like a week ago."
Oh shit!
So it's not going to happen. No. We're like, whoa, okay. So I try to tell them, and the lender should also be pretty open with you guys in terms of don't spend anything on your credit. Don't stay at your job, because before you close escrow, the lender will go back and check to make sure that everything is the same as it was. In terms of like getting a promotion or getting like a pay raise, that can't hurt you. It'll only help you. So
right.
That's pretty much it, man. And then once you close escrow, the home is yours.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, that's a simple process.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
I love G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, man, it's a process. I'm I eventually want to become a homeowner, as probably a lot of the listeners. Steph and I probably are going to want to move out and stop living with Josh here.
Likewise, sir.
I mean, it's fucking hell.
Is mutual.
I mean, what the fuck, dude?
It sucks. Life is horrible.
I mean, what can I say?
But down the line, and I hope that anybody considering it gets informed and does it the right way. I mean,
knowing is half the battle, dude.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. Because I mean, not a lot of people know. You kind of expect this very simple thing, like, all right, like I'm gonna go buy a house, done and done. It's like, nah, it's a little bit.
It's not like buying a car,
process.
which is a big purchase, but. It's just 6 hours in an office, if that.
Well, see, that's the thing.
That.
It's different in terms of buying a car because the agent's not going to try to upsell you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, are you sure you don't want this? Oh, are you sure you don't want this? There's a real cool moonroof. Are you sure you don't want that?
Right.
So we're actually looking out for our clients and their best interest because
you actually have souls.
Yeah, some of us do.
Some of them do.
Don't. Sad.
Well, cool, man. Well, again, thanks for coming on the show. We're just going to get on with it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
No, feel free and stick around
That's my time.
and just shoot the shit, man. Just chime on in, comment. I know you're good at saying a bunch of stupid shit, so feel free and
thank
just
you.
be yourself.
Just be you.
Yeah.
You be you.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about, guys, was this whole thing where have you guys seen these new comedy things on Netflix where they label it as comedy, but it's not really comedy. It's people just kind of telling stories, and they're like sad stories too. Like there's no punchline.
Is it like that stand-up comedy stuff? Like
They're supposed to be stand-up comedy, but if you ask me, they're more like spoken word. Well, anyway, Saturday Night Live's writer Michael Che has had enough of it.
Oh.
He went on some kind of tirade online like maybe a week ago or so, and he slammed the unfunny comedy culture. So what this is that in his Instagram, which he posted a few days ago, and by the way, Michael Che, he's a head writer of Saturday Night Live and one of the co-anchors of Weekend Update, where he parodies the news. So he opened up by saying that he typically doesn't attack other comedians, but that the situation demanded for it. So, quote, I know I've always said comedians should never openly shit on comedy, but what the fuck are we going to do about all this anti-comedy comedy that these A students keep shoveling out? I mean, what the fuck's going on? One or two, okay, but there's like 3 of them now, and it's becoming a goddamn mild inconvenience. What the fuck, Netflix? Give them N-word another section, call it stand-up tragedy instead. So he's referencing recent Netflix comedy specials that seem to favor political correctness over humor. So there's one person called Hannah Gadsby's recent stand-up special titled Nanette, where she ditches out jokes and instead talks about her life as a queer woman. So it's more like, this is my life kind of thing.
Just like a monologue, so it turns from a comedy special into a monologue.
Yeah, and he says, some critics say rape jokes aren't funny, but do you know what's definitely not funny? Rape stories.
Oh, God.
So just flat out, fully detailed rape stories. I know, I don't know about you, but that hasn't made me laugh once. And he's been getting some shit through social media because of all that. Like somebody said, let's see. Well, he also said, I don't want to have to survive a comedy special. I want to laugh. Let's not make this what it's not. And he pushed back against another person who said comedy equals tragedy plus time. But this is one of the best things that he said on this was, you still need a punchline, you dumb motherfucker. Can't just walk out and say the Holocaust. Good night.
I'm sure Hitler did say that.
So is that like Netflix's ultimate joke? Because they're saying it's comedy, but it's not.
But joke's on you, motherfucker. We just got you to watch this.
Yep.
It could be. But, I think everybody being a prude these days for the last 10 years has really developed that kind of clean oversensitivity, that political correctness in their comedy. And if you ask me, comedy is not politically correct. It's not supposed to be. And, the people that go to the comedy clubs and still get mad at the comedians for saying something that was fucking that's supposed to be funny, or at least shit, they're trying.
What do you expect? It's a
I know.
show,
I mean, the best thing you can do is just not laugh. Like, don't attack the guy trying to make you laugh.
So they're just like, Are they literally like rape stories, horror stories?
They're stories of
about this.
Yeah,
I really don't.
it's
know how to
weird,
react
dude.
about
It's
this.
fucking weird,
Like-
and that's why Michael Che's all pissed off because he's just like, dude, I was like, all right, 1, 2 people, but now there's 3, and how many more is Netflix gonna dish out?
I mean, it's one thing if you're labeling it as comedy and you're doing fucking vagina monologues 2.0 over here, and I mean, but come on, like call it a monologue or call it like something else, a sit down, like not comedy. That's
right.
I'm feeling some kind of way about this. Right now.
Let's just say that you watched the whole thing, and then now Netflix knows that you watched it, and it's going to start giving you all of these hits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because you watched this, I don't know, rape story, and you liked it, and you finished it, and watched all the credits. Here's all these other horror stories.
and appalled.
But you see, you guys watch dumb shit all the time. So I mean,
No,
that's
no,
kinda
we
your
don't.
fault. Yeah, you watch like one stupid thing. Blame mainly Steph. She
No.
watches one stupid thing, and then
No.
all of a sudden,
yeah.
you open up the floodgates to your own
That's-
torment. So
that's
that's
sort of
Yeah,
my
I
fault.
think you need to get your own profile. On Netflix. You're fucking up my
you're
groove.
done. You're out. You're out of Netflix.
No.
You're done, son.
Yeah, and I've been noticing that a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was more of that that's going to be happening, and I
hope
just don't
not.
know. I hope that a lot of people kind of vote by not watching it or by letting Netflix know, hey man, can you just create another category for this bullshit because this is more like spoken word or something else that's not comedy. I mean, comedy's supposed to be funny. It's supposed
Do
to.
they at least like structure it in a comedic
No.
way? No.
No, there's no punchline. That's what he's saying. He's like, at least I want a fucking punchline, dude.
So you haven't actually seen it.
No, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd watch it either.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
watch that shit.
Nah.
I'm good.
Be roped into that kind of.
I thought you were
shit.
at first. I thought you were talking about like that one special where Dion Cole showed up. Like, there's like 5 different comedians.
Okay.
It's like all single one shots.
Oh, uh huh.
And Dion Cole came up, and I thought he was gonna do like legit stand up,
Yeah.
like it was gonna be hilarious. No, he just read off a list of shit that he just wrote like the night before. He's like, I didn't really. Exactly.
Funny. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be funny.
Yeah. All right.
So that fucking sucks. Anyway, do you guys catch Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Sure did.
Have
Yeah.
you seen it? What do you think,
I thought it was great.
Richie? Have you seen it?
I have not, dude. I haven't even seen the first Ant-Man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where'd you
living in
leave
the
off?
past.
Like how behind are you with?
the last one
Marvel
I saw
movies?
was Iron Man 1.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. All right.
Is there a lot that I
All
have to catch up on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
it's a
anything
bit.
happened since then?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I haven't seen that, but the last Marvel one I saw was Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, not too long ago.
No.
But there's been a couple movies
Yeah,
since.
yeah.
So you haven't seen like Black Panther or
I did see that
Okay,
one. That
so
one was
there's
fucking
that.
good.
Yep,
That
yes
one was
it is.
great. Yeah.
Well, this one, I have a little review of it. I was pleasantly surprised, and by the way, I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right, Steph, Josh?
Um,
Yeah.
Steph and
Yeah.
I saw it at the drive-in, so we were getting drunk off some Jack and Coke
oh my god.
while we were
It was
watching it.
Too much alcohol.
Oh
way
yeah,
too
you
much.
got pretty tossed.
Ooh,
But
nice.
I was pleasantly surprised. In my opinion, it topped the first Ant-Man, and it was rather refreshing to see an uplifting type of superhero movie after what happened in the previous Infinity War movie. If you haven't seen that yet, don't want to spoil it for you, but it's shit goes down.
well, the internet has already. So it's okay.
all right,
Well,
fine.
then there you go.
Cool. Well, the movie also mentions why Ant-Man wasn't a part of Infinity Wars. So if you pay attention, you'll pick up why. So anybody who's kind of thinking of watching it, it's a good movie. Don't be the guy who, after a decade of these Marvel movies, still heads out to the exits as the credits just start rolling in.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't
Those
get-
people still exist after
Yeah,
10 years of
why?
Marvel movies.
You know.
And it's the same douchebag that ends up blocking the aisles when they're walking down, and then after the credit scene starts playing,
Yeah.
they're
They're just standing.
Yeah,
right there
they're
in
just
the
standing
hallway.
there.
It's like, Dick, just sit down.
Sit down.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to you, sir, I would like to say,
Don't be a dick.
very nice.
Yeah. There you go.
Did you
It's
have
almost
that-
like I didn't miss
Did you
it
have
at
that queued up on Eastern time or what?
Mountain Standard Time. Thank you very much,
Gosh.
sir.
Do you know what? Paul Rudd does not age.
Dude,
No,
The
he
guy
doesn't.
doesn't age.
how old is that guy?
Motherfucker
Like
He's 49.
49, almost 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the same Paul Rudd that was in Clueless.
Yes.
Yeah, and he looked exactly the
Right?
same.
Dude, that was like 23, 24 years ago.
Yeah. Crazy.
Such a dream.
Evangeline Lilly.
All right. Well, Josh.